The, the previous chart that I revealed came from Revelation chapter 12. Now, this would be Revelation chapter 13. And I stood upon the sand of the sea, and saw a beast rise up out of the sea, having 7 heads and 10 horns, and upon his horn 10 crowns, and upon his head the name of blasphemy. Okay, in Revelation 12, the horns was the crown was not on the horns. It was not on the horn. It was on the 7 nations, 7 heads. It says, and there appeared a great woman. One, go back to Revelation chapter 12, because these are twin chapters. And there appeared a great one in heaven, and a woman clothed with the sun, and the moon under her feet, and upon her head a crown of 12 stars. These, then you know who where these this was. 12 stars is the 12 tribes of Israel. And she being with child cried, traveling in birth, and pain to be delivered. And there appeared another one in heaven, and behold, a red dragon. The red dragon is superpowers, because a nation having nuclear capabilities, which is the United States, having 7 heads, he letting you know that there were 7 heads, 7 commanders in chiefs of these nations. That means it was 7 of them, because and 7 heads and 10 horns. 10 horns is the same replica of the horns over there in Daniel. You can see how consistent it is. So 4 of these horns would belong to the United States of America. The other 6 would belong to the 6 remaining nations of superpowers, which is the richest nation of the world, which would apparently come from the Gentile. And 7 crowns upon his head. In other words, he says 7 crowns upon his head. These are 7 commanders and chiefs of these rich nations, which is the 7 presidents. That's what it is. The first crown that's that goes to the head of gold, and the shoulders of silver, and the arms that's the crowns of them. Is numbing from the head is the gold to the silver in Daniel chapter 2. These are the leaders of the world. There's the day of the dominant nations of the world, the presidents of the world of these 7 nations. Now, the second part is we'll find here in Revelation 13. We break coming down, we got to go to the brass, which is he that identified the head of gold and the silver right there in Revelation chapter 12, which was spoken of in the prophecy of Daniel chapter 2. Now he's gonna break it down, that head of gold down. He's down to the brass now, and he got to put a crown on the brass, because he said the brass will rule, which is the top brass that we call the generals in military. And he said the brass will rule, and the ground foot soldiers. This will take you all the way down to the foot of the image. Here you go. And I stood upon the sand of the sea, and I saw a beast rise up out of the sea, having 7 heads. There go your 7 heads again, but he's not going to show you the crown here, because he's talking specific about the brass that was going to rule, which is John. 7 heads and 10 horns upon his, and 10 horns, and upon his horn 10 crowns, and upon his head the name of blasphemy. In other words, the commanders in chief, which what we saw a while ago, these rich nations that had a crown upon their head, they sent the military people in there and gave them orders to go and slaughter all of God's people. Here your horns is. Here's your top brass, which was spoken in Daniel. Each one of these horns is a military fighting force. From the brass, top brass is the head of them. These are the military generals that is symbolized by the brass and down to the thighs. These take command from the head of gold and the shoulders and on the silver, because these are their fighting voices. Now, the horns itself is the military fighting force, but these top brasses are the commanders in chief of these military fighting forces, which is the generals. See what I'm talking about? So these the one giving command over here, executing judgments on God's peoples over there. And he's telling you, giving you the characteristics, and it's going to match with Daniel the prophet. And upon his head the name of blasphemy. In other words, they go and blaspheme God, take away the law of Moses and replace it with the law called Demarcus. And the beast which I saw was like unto a leopard. There you go again. Cultural makeup of the United States of America is similar, have a similitude to that of a leopard. As the leopard have many spots, but yet none is at exactly the same, so is the cultural makeup of the United States of America. Having many peoples and race, but yet none is alike. That is the United States of America. That's what he's telling you. That is spoken of in Daniel chapter 7, when he gave you the 4 flying forces that had the wings that was like a leopard. And his feet were the feet of a bear. A bear feeds by water. This is dominant strength. I got here the dominant military watercraft or destroyers, aircraft carriers. This is what the bear is. It's a water vessel. The same significance as the prophecy of Daniel chapter 7, where he said dominion was given to it. It had 3 ribs in the mouth of it. And his mouth as the mouth of a lion, and the dragon gave him his power at his seat and great authority. You know, Daniel chapter 7, at the first start off, it spoke of the lion. It was a military aircraft that flew overhead and dropped a bomb and break in pieces them, and then the wings was clipped. So it made it stand up. He was talking about this nuclear weapon was going to be used. So the dragon gave him his strength. The dragon is a symbol of weapons of mass destruction having nuclear capabilities of the United States of America. This is consistent when you match this, the characteristics of the leopard and the characteristics of the dragon, you get the United States of America. Which, and then when you match the head of gold, is the head of gold, it's the richest nation upon the earth. And as that is, when you match the 3 together, you understand that God is talking about the same reference of Daniel chapter 2. And I saw one of his heads as it were wounded to death, and his deadly wound was healed, and all the world wondered after the beast. And they worshipped the dragon which gave power unto the beast, and they worshipped the beast, saying, Who is like unto the beast, who is able to make war with this? Beast was nation. CIA. Mystery Babylon faded off the map. Chaldees faded off the map. But they became a centralized government within a government. They hid themselves as the CIA or as a spy agent, where they went in as mercenaries and spied on other countries and found the weak point, and they got in good with these nations and caused them to become superpowers. And done so, they became a dominant force upon the earth, where this CIA was using each man against each other, creating pitfalls and snaptraps to keep confusion up on the world. But his main focus point was to get even with Jesus, to get even, deny God. And God gave him this power to set so we could see what his capabilities are and what he will do. Now, saying that, as I get ready to go to the other part, I'm trying to rush here and make sure that I get this here completed. This is the third part of this here. I want to show you something here. And the nations, you see, it says the nation worship the dragon. You see now, everybody wants nuclear weapons. They worship the dragon. They all want nuclear weapons now, because the